You're listening to the Mopcast Network.
Welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina.
There is officially more vodka than soda in my soda can.
I offered a solo cup because we have a ton of them.
Did I complain about there being more vodka than soda?
No.
She went, ooh, right as we started.
And no, I offered a solo cup, and she looked at me and she went, "No, I'm old schooling in."
That's when you just accept how much you put it in.
When I was in school, I'm not going to tell you what grade.
5th. Like the bottle.
Not quite, but still. I would take those. Back in the day, we would have the miniature hairsprays like you guys have now, but ours were not aerosol. Ours were in the pump. So we would unscrew them, clean them out really good, and then fill them up with alcohol.
I used to have a pump one, and I forgot all about it until you just said that
so
right
when I
now.
was in
Oh, my
school,
goodness.
I would take that to school and then get a soda at school and put it in my soda.
I believe it.
I totally would.
I never even kissed another person until like 8th grade. So I did not do that in 4th grade or 3rd grade or kindergarten. I don't know.
So hold on real quick. Not to shame you or anything.
Oh, don't shame me. Throw it.
But when you said I didn't kiss anyone until like I was almost going to expect you to say high school, and then I'm like, and then you got a baby, so you're the first person who kissed and got a baby because of it.
Literally, that's kind of what happened. Like, no joking. Nobody believed me when I told them I was expecting because I was not the person that did that. And Chris and I had barely had sex when we had Mackenzie. It was just one of those where you didn't know better.
The odds were against you.
Are we telling, the way back when stories?
I guess. We have to at some point get to the movie because I did watch
here's my way back when.
Hold on. Let's do this before we forget because we will.
Okay.
I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by, as always,
your Lady of Libations, Stephanie.
I liked her eyebrow movement. Justina, the Jellicle Jester.
She who knows no movies. Where were you?
I was smiling at her. I don't know why.
Admiral.
I was thinking about my first kiss.
Oh.
That's where I was.
My first kiss
Right, so
went a little like this.
And now you know who we are. So
And twist.
back in the day.
So my first kiss was with a girl.
Okay.
And she liked it.
I did. I've kissed lots of girls, and I liked it. But anyway.
The ratings on this podcast has just went up.
But so for real, I had a friend. When
we all kiss girls at this table.
And it probably was around like the 6th grade.
You don't know my life, Scotty.
6th grade.
I've actually kissed both of them.
And we would spend the night with
I've
each
never
other
been
and
kissed
make
by
out.
you.
Have you kissed Stephanie?
Yes.
On the lips?
Yes.
Pray tell.
I might have been drunk because I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure she was drunk when I got a kiss from
I'm sitting
Stephanie.
here thinking it's like
There was almost tongue, and I was like,
feel
whoa.
kind of bad because I'm like,
Her whole body's turning red.
And don't
She
get
was
me
like,
wrong,
oh my goodness.
I love you. I love you.
I love you too. Was this when I declared that you had to marry me if something happened to Jamie?
No, but there's that.
Do you remember kissing me?
That's why I'm leaving it open. I'm just.
Yeah.
Okay, because she'd been drinking when she kissed me too. I was just making sure it wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
So if you have also been kissed by Stephanie, reach out to us at 1-800.
And if you would like to be kissed by the Stephanie,
We'll
You
set up
first
a
have-
booth.
You should provide alcohol first. Is what we're
I
saying.
like vodka
It's a quarter
and gin.
booth. Bring a quarter.
No, it was New Year's. I was home. I think it was 13 or 14. I was home from West Virginia, and we were at the party with the bonfire and the. I can't think of her names, but we.
I don't even remember a bonfire. Okay, so
And I brought-
I do remember.
And I brought
That's
Frankie.
my
and-
face. She made my face.
We were at Dana's house.
Dana's house. That's right. Dana's.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so drunk.
God damn, she was drunk. Yeah.
It was awesome. That was an awesome. I have photos of that night, all of us together, not kissing,
yeah,
but
well-
all of us
All of us
together.
not kissing.
That was fantastic.
Tell ya.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't kiss a lot of ladies, so that's why I can remember. There's a
He's
small
like, no, we
list.
kissed. And you're like, I
do
do know,
remember.
Scotty.
Oh, it was a house party, and I didn't have to go home. So
You were
She's
living your
kissing
best
everybody.
life.
I was living my best life. I was. until the
Stephanie's
next
very
morning.
much a kisser.
She
I am a
is.
kisser.
She is a
I like
kisser.
to, I'm a lover. I want to kiss and cuddle, especially when I'm drunk.
She's the kind of person I would expect if you met from like another country, if you were coming over, she would be like, hi, nice to meet you, hug, kiss on the lips, and you're like, what is this country? Like, that would be Stephanie.
That would be
is me.
Stephanie.
She's like,
That
no,
is
we
me.
just, kissing's good. Kissing's nice. Hello.
The
It's a hello kiss.
The
I like kisses.
COVID quarantines nearby killed her.
Let me tell you, I literally had issues with not touching people for a while.
Did you overtouch Jamie to the point where he was like, you need to stop?
I mean, we touch all the time anyway, so it's not like that was a thing. But like having like other human contact, and it's so weird to forcibly stay away from people.
Yeah.
And then that brief. I mean, when we got together, we all hug and stuff.
Sure
and
did.
Whatever. But
Still not sick.
that like there was like when I had my surgery, like 4 weeks when I really didn't see people
yeah.
a lot, and that was hard.
Can we just focus on the fact that it feels like you had your surgery yesterday and time has no meaning since we've been quarantined?
I had surgery.
I cannot
in
believe
April.
that that's crazy to me. Like, I remember coming to visit you and bringing you a gift.
I know.
And I can't
And
believe that
listeners-
we're 2 months away from that.
Let me tell you what this lovely lady brought me. She brought me some homemade chocolate chip pumpkin cookies and a bottle of vodka.
The bottle of vodka was wearing a sweater, just so we're clear.
It was.
It was an adorable bottle of vodka.
And I'm trying to figure out how to put that sweater on my ferret. I think it's going to happen.
Also,
Cut it like when you cut a t-shirt like a V-neck and like open the arms. Oh, it's going to be a
I have
badass
a feeling
ferret.
that's going to go on my ferret at some point.
Yes, please.
you should open a bakery.
That's like the one. Okay, no,
She's
I
like,
do
that's-
love making pies. I enjoy making pies.
Just make cookies,
I've never
or
had
just
a
make that
pie.
one cookie. Oh my God! All right, so you
That's like the
you've-
one cookie I make, to
right,
be honest.
Right, you've had the
Yeah.
heavenly.
So, and they're not, so listeners, they're not like a traditional cookie. Really, the texture is like, they're almost like if you've gone to places and gotten like muffin tops, like the tops off of a muffin, and they're really thick and moist and cakey. That's what these are. They're
So
amazing.
my brother and I have this thing, Kyle.
Hold on, real quick. Let me. 'Cause
Okay, go ahead.
We've said cookies, and we've
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really. It is a pumpkin chocolate chip.
yeah.
Divine.
Moist. It's more like, they're
Oh.
like, more like mini cakes.
Yeah.
They're that
And
moist.
they're
Or
and
pudding. It's just.
I don't
it's
like
so-
pumpkin. Like, I don't like anything pumpkin. I don't.
More for us.
I'm a
No.
basic bitch.
I love
like
these.
all the pumpkin.
I love these cookies, but I don't like anything. I don't like pumpkin pie. I don't like pumpkin coffee. I don't like pumpkin. So I honestly cannot remember how this came into my life, but I loved these cookies. You can't, like, the pumpkin is incorporated, and you can, like, acknowledge it's there, I guess, but it's not like an overwhelming sense of pumpkin.
They're
like,
amazing.
They're good. They it all works out together.
And
all the
quite
ingredients.
good with a bottle of vodka, I might add.
Oh, really?
Since we're talking about sweets,
Sure. Throw it down.
no.
Okay.
You and I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh, thank you, Scotty.
Would you? I'll let you bring
I will
it.
start it.
I don't know what
Okay,
I
guys, we're
did.
getting serious, everybody. Stephanie,
Uh-oh.
your friends and I are concerned. You know and frequent a person that makes macaroons. And I would just like to point out that, Scotty, have you ever had a macaroon?
No, I've not
from
had
this
a macaroon.
I've seen pictures of
Right,
her
I've
with
seen
the
pictures.
macaroons and the details of the ingredients of the macaroons, like the flavors.
Right.
Is this real for you?
Yeah, no. It's
not real for
In
me
fact,
either.
when I brought a hint, she was like, "Oh, here's who does it." Instead
I know,
of
I
like,
know.
"Oh, you should have one. Let me
Or-
save you one."
I know what day that we podcast every single week, and maybe I
Right.
could bring some macaroons. I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so next time we podcast, I will be bringing macaroons. Any-
Shaming works.
Are
is
there
what-
any flavors you guys would
I'm
like?
really intrigued by the lemon. I love lemon
lemon's
things.
my favorite.
Uh,
is the lemon.
I
One of
saw
your
on the list
17.
the vanilla, the French vanilla. I love vanilla stuff. So,
okay, so we'll get.
I'm that basic
We'll get
bitch.
a dozen that's half
Derby wife?
lemon, half vanilla.
Macaroons are good.
All right.
Derby wife's
She's
like
open.
macaroons.
They're amazing, and the reason why I haven't brought any is because
They're
don't
gone. I was
last.
like, they're gone. They're gone.
Like,
She's
between
eating them
Jamie
all,
and I,
Scotty.
Number one, I will get them in the car, and two of them
Are just gone.
on the way home.
Oh, I
are
can say
gone.
they're tiny anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, so two are done. And then we get home and it's all over.
She just opened the box and just like, I'm just going to punish you.
Yeah.
So that's why she's like, I will get a dozen on the way here because I know that I will eat part of them before
So
I get
what
here.
happens is when we get them, there will be 10.
There'll be 10. We're gonna get there'll be like 8. And she'll be like,
I
there was
can't
an
count.
accident on
You
airport.
each get one. Good. Consider yourself lucky.
But so anyway, if you're in the area, if you're in the Mobile area, it's Piped Dreams Macaroon Bakery.
I will post a link on the show notes.
Yes, please do, because they are amazing. She will custom make them because she has a butterbeer flavor, and she will make them in your house color. So I've had Slytherin butterbeer flavor.
That is hilarious and
We're gonna have to
amazing.
make that happen.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. Like we're gonna need 3 Slytherins.
Right.
What are you, Ravenclaw?
Really,
Hufflepuff?
Slytherin.
Are you Slytherin too? We're all Slytherins.
We're all Slytherin.
Why did I think you were not in Slytherin?
My
I don't
husband
know.
is a puff.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I knew one of the group wasn't.
My
That's probably
husband's a puff.
Jamie. So we're gonna need a batch of Slytherin
Yeah,
up in this.
Yeah.
they're delicious, and butterbeer's delicious too.
We'll do a video for her. We'll do it. Well, I'll do an ad for her. No problem at all.
Thanks for bringing that up.
All right.
So your first kissed.
Yeah, it was with her. So we would spend the night with each other and make out. So that was our thing. That's how I learned how to kiss. That is where I learned how to French kiss.
I have a story. No, don't.
No,
Yes, I
you
do.
started that. I have a
Go
story.
ahead.
I used to practice kissing on my bunk bed.
On your what?
On my bunk bed.
On your bunk bed?
Yeah, I had like a metal bunk bed.
So you kissed your bunk bed?
Yes, I did.
Like the metal part
Yeah.
of the. Humans are not like built like that.
I know.
It's kind of like sticking your tongue to the pole.
I'm sharing something with y'all. I
That's
don't know.
kinda
Like
cool.
that's what I did when I lived in Minnesota. What else are you gonna do in Minnesota? I'm just
I
saying.
don't know. Hopefully it wasn't frozen.
No, it was my bunk bed. Like I slept on it.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember practicing kissing ever, which may explain a lot of things.
Is that a girl thing though? I don't know.
I literally did it the one time and then never did it again. So
Oh,
it's not like I
did it a lot.
frequently.
But we've already discussed I'm a very lovey sexual person. So
We all have established on this podcast that I am crazy and I feel differently about intercourse and intimacy
Right.
than
That
most
doesn't
people.
make you crazy.
No, it
it's
makes
just
me,
your things.
Yes, yeah, it
everybody
makes
has
me
their
crazy.
things.
But-
She's way lovier than I'm in the middle, and then you
No,
just.
I'm lovey. I'll hug and love anybody. It's just like when we're
Oh,
like,
that's not the kind of love I was talking about, Scotty.
yeah, when it gets like to the next level, I'm just like I get in my head too much and I can't enjoy it, and because I'm always worrying about pleasuring and if my partner's having a good time, all that stuff gets in my head, and just like literally that's all I'm thinking about instead of the moment. I cannot get them. I'm crazy.
I think that's really sweet though that you're that concerned about it, but you need to sometimes just relax.
Right, I know, right? But
Just
I'm gonna find you a lady and get you intoxicated, buddy.
Yeah.
Or let that lady take care of you.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe we need to get you an escort.
no, no.
Someone who you don't have to worry about
Happy
pleasing.
No, see,
birthday.
I don't know why I'm bringing this up. We're being very intimate on this episode.
I just told people I made
But
out
I
on my bunk
remember,
bed.
so it's weird. It's almost cartoonish. But I remember being young, and I was kind of a late bloomer to this kind of stuff anyway. But the moment where the whole sexual awakening happens was like a switch. It was like Transformers and G.I. Joe are women. It was like dramatic. It was like I was like, yeah, I know what I want. I don't know why I want, but suddenly the switch went, and it was like, and I was like, that was like a pursuit. It's like, all right, let's.
I wonder if that's what it's like for guys.
Oh, yeah, it's
because
just like-
I've often wondered. What,
like through puberty, if it's just like all of a sudden it's like switches.
yeah, I mean, because I raised 2 boys, and not to be too graphic, but I remember going from one day, la da 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 da, they're outside playing. The next day, I'm picking up very stiff hand towels.
Yep.
I mean,
Is that a thing for real?
Yeah.
That
Yep.
is very much a thing.
Why hand towels?
Well, that's what
Well,
my kids used.
I'll just put whatever you've got, quote unquote, handy.
Whatever's handy.
When you just use your hand?
No, the cleanup.
To the cleanup part.
There's a lot of cleanup.
Why wouldn't you just do it in a place where it would? So this is where boys and girls are different.
No.
No. Like I understand how a penis works, but I'm just saying, like if I had
well, you
one,
have 3 children. I would
if I
imagine
had
you do.
one,
because
like I feel like I would just do it like over a toilet so that I could just like.
But they don't. What if they get a hard on in the middle of the night?
All
They're
right.
not
And then
gonna
you get up and go to the bathroom.
They're not going to do that. They're going to sit there and
If
wait.
there's ever a moment where I had to take care of anything by myself, I made sure I had cleaning things next to me every single
a
time.
teenage boy, when the thing wakes up, a teenage boy is going to say hello. and do their thing.
Okay.
Do their business.
All right. Interesting.
Not all the time, but yeah.
Scotty's
I
like,
mean, when they're
"Eh."
in school, they probably shouldn't do that.
Right.
That's interesting. How do you handle that situation?
Funny enough, I was a late bloomer on that too. And not to get graphic, but it was a great day when I discovered it. Because I'd heard tales of it.
Right.
But,
I had heard tales.
but I got the sex talk at like 8 or 9, which was way earlier to have the sex talk. I had the sex talk and the I've told this story too, but I had the sex, and if I remember this, I had the sex talk and the curse word talk the same day.
Wow.
I don't remember you having a curse word talk.
I don't have a curse word talk.
I never had a curse word talk. I was scared to curse around my parents.
My mother,
I thought they would beat me.
My parents didn't fucking care.
my mother and I remember we were laying in the back bedroom and we're having a mother-son discussion.
That's sweet.
And so that's when she explained the birds and the bees to me. And then while we were also talking, she said, well, this is a safe zone. We can talk about everything we want to talk about. What do you want to talk about? And I was like, curse words, because I was fascinated by curse words. And child of the 80s. And so I said curses, not like with my parents, but like with my friends and stuff. But hell, at 9, I didn't know what the hell they meant. I had to say asshole, shit, whatever. And so we were going down the list of like, well, what does this mean? And what does this mean? And then I asked, well, what's a motherfucker? And she said, your father. I didn't get it until years later. And I remember like years later, like that repressed memory hit me in my brain. And I just started giggling just crazy because it just dawned on me what she was talking about.
That's hilarious.
Have you ever walked in on your parents?
My parents were very, okay. Let me just say that my parents were hippies back in the day, so there was a lot of nudity in our house all the time anyway. It was just a thing. And my mom would walk around topless, my dad would walk around and whatever, and it wasn't a whole, I mean, I walked around naked half the time. It was not a thing in our house. We were very European, let's put it that way. We're a very European family. So I guess because everything was so open, I knew that when they were in their bedroom, it was private time. Like that was a thing. But I would hear them. They were enjoying themselves immensely on a regular basis. And it would be very loud. And that was kind of crazy.
Okay, so I have stories. I have 2.
Go ahead.
One of them sparked one of yours sparked one of mine.
Okay.
But the other one, we'll get to like the sex part of it. I've never walked in on them having sex, but when I was a kid, like 7 maybe Penny's age, possibly, which is one of my children. My mom told me, and I remember this house. It was the house that we lived in on Rich. I have a lot of memories from there. I was like, go get your hairbrush so I can brush your hair. So I went to the bathroom, opened the door to get my hairbrush, and my dad was peeing, and my dad panicked. And then I panicked because I grew up in a very strict household. So I thought I was in trouble. And I was. I got in trouble for that. Like, I ran to my mom panicking, and he threw that hairbrush at me for walking in on him, going to the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
So that's the kind of house I grew up in. Different than you. I remember
Very
that
different
happening.
for me.
But the only time that I, like, my mom and my dad, like my biological parents when they were married, I never even saw them together. Like, I don't remember them holding hands, hugging. There was never a moment in any of my memories of them together.
Yeah.
Like, it's always separate. When my dad met Liz, which is my ex-stepmother, they were very like hippie and out there. But the only like sex-based thing where it was actually like them having sex and not talking about or referring to it, we had just moved to Idaho from Minnesota, where I practiced kissing on the bed. And so, I mean, I'm in 6th grade and I had somebody spend the night. And this is the only time I heard them. And we're in this house that's not super big, and like where the kitchen is their room is like right off, like catty corner from it. And it's late, and my friend and I are playing a game at the kitchen table, and it got loud. And I'm talking about like, I was uncomfortable loud. And I was like, they're probably watching a movie. Like, my dad has so many surround sound systems. We should go to bed, because my bed is all the way on the other side of the house. And we went to bed, and that was the only time I actually heard them.
Oh, wow. I am pretty sure that in the 70s, my parents would have swinger parties.
They were swingers. My dad and my stepmom.
Were they?
It did not work.
I don't know, and I can't.
Obviously.
I can't prove anything other than the fact that they would have these parties, and they would tell me that while their friends were over, I could not come out of my room. I had to stay in my room.
Oh, that's
which
a
was
swinger
fine.
party.
Yes, I'm saying, which I was fine with because I was very I was an independent kid,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have people come over till late anyway, so it would be like when I was asleep. But I do remember having to get up the one time that I did break the rule. I got up, and I don't know why. I think I needed to go to the bathroom or get some water. But I remember coming around, and there was like porn on the TV and stuff. And
Oh my gosh.
so, needless to say, I'm pretty sure my parents threw swinger parties.
Walked onto my mother twice.
Oh, God.
Once when I was 5. She had a boyfriend. We were living in Texas. and
Scotty, this might be your
This is my
this might be your thing. We're both like, we didn't see it. This might be your
But
thing.
I remember like opening the door, and I didn't see a lot. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, when we had moved to Perdido, I called her and Dad doing it, but it was real brief. It was like, open the door, shut the door, yelled at kind of thing, and then I don't think we discussed it anymore. But I remember that. So yeah, so they just didn't lock
That's
the door.
interesting.
Did I tell you about the time with Jack
No.
when he?
Oh.
I mean, he walked in after the thing. You're gonna love this. Oh, Jack, I hope you don't listen to this.
Jack, I hope you do. We need the listeners.
So
I'm gonna reach out to
this is
Jack
great.
personally.
My son.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him.
You may want to fast forward a minute. That's what we're saying, Jack.
La 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 la. la.
So we have cats.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of cats. Just keep that in the back of your head.
I'm getting weirded out already.
Jamie and I, right? Jamie and I had relations, and afterwards we were in our room, cleaning up, whatever. We're dressed at this point. Jack comes home from wherever he was, and this is during the day, daytime activities. We have daytime activities. So.
Little afternoon delight.
Yes.
Afternoon delight.
And he comes home and comes to our bedroom because we always were, we're a close family and we
Yeah.
all hang out and talk. And he comes in and he starts talking to us and he lays across the bed. Okay? Now, I haven't made my bed yet. So he lays across the bed and he puts his arm into something moist. And he jumps up and he says, "Oh, my God, the cat drooled on your bed." And I looked at him and I said, "Son, that's not cat drool."
Oh, yes. See, I would have been like,
The
yes.
poor child
yes.
was traumatized.
I would have been like, "Aw, cat, killer."
No, I had way more fun telling him it was not cat
Of course
drool.
you did.
Oh,
That was an
kid.
interesting trip down memory lane. I'm trying to think who, I can't remember who I like, I can't remember who my first kiss was. I don't.
I'm pretty sure my first kiss was outside of a movie theater in again, 8th grade. I'm pretty sure the first one, and all of my family saw it.
Oh.
Oh,
Like, they dropped me off for the movies, and I went on this date with this.
Was it a real
family.
kiss or a little peck?
It was a peck. I don't remember when my first real kiss was. I don't remember.
So I had my first serious girlfriend my senior year of high school, and that was probably like the first real kiss I had was with her. Because we were both what I would call novices, but we figured it out pretty well. She was actually my first in lots of things.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now she's married to a religious preacher, and she's got 2 grown kids. Oh, here's something weird for.
Okay.
Don't take this the wrong way.
Okay.
This is Stephanie, because this is directed to
Is
Stephanie.
this pick on Stephanie Day?
No.
No.
Because
We play in the macaroons. I don't know what this is.
you're not very much older than I am.
Right.
This is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So I have a friend I went to high school with who has grandkids, and that messes with my brain.
That's kind of crazy, yeah. I have 4 kids and none of them are pregnant.
Right, but no, and you have grown kids, and I've known your grown
I
kids,
do.
but if they procreate, that's fine. These people, I understand that I am 42 years old.
Uh-huh.
I forget I'm 42 years old all the
How do you
time.
think
If I
feel?
would
No.
be a grandparent at 42, I would be upset about that.
Let me tell you, my son, my oldest, has a birthday next week. Now, I'm sure you all have seen the Facebook post.
Yeah, it's adorable little
So
picture.
you know how old he's going to be.
Right.
My oldest son is going to be 30.
You right?
I don't feel or look, I think,
You don't.
that I should have a 30-year-old child.
No.
I would agree with that. I'm 30.
Yeah.
You could be my mom.
Shut up. Take
Would
that
you?
back right
Could
now.
you,
Take
please?
that back right now.
Be
Take
it.
that.
Do it.
Hey,
No.
hey, I'm just saying, Stephanie.
I would be your mom.
Stephanie
Thank
would
you.
be a good mom. is
I
what I'm saying.
know.
Be a good mom.
So I definitely said I wouldn't want to be a grandparent by 42. I had Mackenzie at 18.
So 36,
There you go.
So if she had a kid
18.
at 18, I would be 36. So we're talking about 24. 36, 42, right?
You guys are
6
doing
years.
too much math right now.
At 24. So I could theoretically be a grandmother at 42 because Mackenzie would be 24 years old, and
Yeah.
that's about the age that
Right.
people usually tend to start having kids.
Right.
Mid
You could
20s.
theoretically be a grandmother yet earlier than that.
Calm down. You watch your mouth.
Get your life right, Stephanie.
I'm just saying.
So, this is a movie podcast. We should talk about the movie.
Oh.
And that's why I brought it up, because I know you had. So
I'm excited.
Justina watched the director's cut.
Oh, I want to see it.
She
so
went
bad.
back and rewatched. This is the first time you went back and rewatched film, right?
I did. Yes.
Okay,
And
so
I
where
did.
can you get the director's cut?
It's on Amazon
It's
like
on
the other
Amazon.
one.
It is?
It's just the next one to buy, but you can't rent it.
You have to buy it.
have to buy
It's
it.
like $12.
But
That's not bad.
when you came over to my house on Monday, I went over to Jennifer's, Derby Wife's, and worked from her house.
Mhm.
So it literally took us all day to watch the film because she would have it playing and she would have to pause it every time I left a voicemail.
Right.
Because that's pretty much what I do. Anyway, so it took us all day, but when we went to go get it, we went back and forth a little while about whether to get the director's cut or the other one. And I was like, I mean, I'm interested in seeing the director's cut because we just talked about it, but it's going to be your movie. It's up to you. So we ended up getting it and watching it. And having had watched it before and then watching it again, the one scene that stands out for me that I wish they would have kept on in there, because to me it made so much more sense. There's this whole scene where they actually put on a show. Like the teacher, the doctor,
Right.
what's her face from
Gorski.
Spy Kids?
Yeah,
Right.
Gorski.
She comes out and her and Blue have this singing thing where it's juxtaposed with each person's act. You see all of their different
Right. Do we see
whatever.
Baby Doll Dance?
No, I don't think you ever see Baby Doll Dance.
You don't.
You don't. No, but because she was too fresh. So you actually, you know what? You do see her picking up this. This is the one where it gets more into the sexual relations,
Right.
Because this is right after Rocket says, "The new people clean. This is the closet. If you misbehave,
Right.
Blue locks you in it. Whatever." Right after that is when it cut to a show night. So you see the doctor doing this duet with Blue, and then it cuts to all the other girls as you get it all cut together where they're doing their dance over the one song with Blue.
Okay.
And during that time, there's one where I forget who's who, but one of the girls, a guy is interested in her, and you see him looking for a room, and he goes into a room, and you see all these people in the background going into rooms, and then you'll see Baby Doll walking out with her arms, and as she's passing rooms, they're just throwing sheets and towels
Yeah.
at her, so she's cleaning. But it really, I think it helps so much with the story to kind of nail down the whole this is what we do, because they always talk about it, but you never actually see them do the thing they say they
That's
do.
interesting.
There were a couple moments where it would come up and I would tell Derby Wife, I was like, that wasn't in the original film, but that was my favorite thing that I wish they would have kept, because they sang the whole time. The Doctor and Blue sang this whole song, and all this stuff was cut to kind of deepen the story, but it was more intimate.
That's cool.
But having had watched it again, I do have some different interpretations of what it was about. I watched it again with captioning on the whole time, and it is implied that the bullet ricochets to kill the sister. But then again, it does say, there's a spot where he says, I'll make sure that she won't ever be able to testify about the truth. So, like, I noticed those.
Is the truth, could have been maybe the truth be about the abuse?
I think possibly. I do think that she accidentally killed her sister, trying to protect her.
Right.
But I think that was the truth. Like,
the truth
she didn't just go crazy and kill her sister.
The truth
you were abusing her.
Yeah.
And then I do think that because it's harped on so much throughout the film that she's this virgin, that I get the impression that she wasn't ever sexually abused, that maybe that wouldn't have happened while the mother was alive, but that she was abused. So it was like, oh, she's like this mint condition, never been touched, never been, deflowered. But I don't think any of the girls that she brings up are real people. I think that when she comes in, she hears the story. She hears Blue talking with her stepdad in the background. She knows the process. He's like, I'll make sure. I forged the signature hundreds of times. It's not a big deal. She won't remember her name. I'll make sure it happens before the detectives come to question her. And then I think, like, in her brain, because if you watch it again, you see, like, when she first walks in, she notices all these things. Like, she notices the lighter, and right above the guy with the lighter is a sign that says, in case of fire, the door's open. Like, there's a warning sign right next to him. So, like, in her brain, she was like, I've set a fire to get out, because in case of fire, the door's open. Like, she saw the butcher put down the knife. She saw the key hanging around Blue's neck. Like, she saw the map when she was walking by. All these different things. And I think in her brain, she was like, I have to get out to tell the truth. So she did those things in the mental institution. So, like they said, she stabbed an orderly and she set a fire. But in her brain, she did those to get out to tell the truth, to let the truth be known. But the mystery item was that she had to let the lobotomy happen in order for the truth to come out. And I think at the end, I think the girls, none of them were real.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think that they were all each ways that she was trying to make that happen. I think they were all psychological people that she created.
I think one of them has to be real because they said in the movie, she helped another patient escape.
Right, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be Sweet Pea.
But here's the thing: Sweet Pea escapes, but she escapes on a bus with the wise one, who isn't real. And I think Sweet Pea is her, because if you think Sweet Pea has a sister, her sister ran away, not knowing why Sweet Pea followed, because Sweet Pea loved her mother. Well, Baby Doll's mother just died. So I think Sweet Pea was Baby Doll in a sense. So she had to let that portion of herself go. She had to let the innocence of herself go so that she could be lobotomized so the truth could come out. Because she gets on a bus, and where does she, with the wise one, she's not really going anywhere. I think, she had to, acknowledge the fact that I have to be brain dead, but then things will be found out. And at the very end, it was like, as soon as that happened, the doctor was like, I don't know why these procedures are happening. And he's like, well, you keep signing on it. And they found out that Blue was forging the signatures, and Blue went to jail. And because Blue went to jail, they found out that the dad was abusing them. Right. And so, all these things were found out. So it's like she had to hit the point where
she had to let that happen.
She had to give herself up so that the truth would come out, which is what she was trying to accomplish the whole time. Anyway, I did that while I was working Monday. I killed Monday, by the way, at work. I did so well.
So on your second viewing, what was your opinion of it?
Oh, I liked it a lot more. I like movies like that make you really think and interpret it, because, again, you guys could both come back with a completely different interpretation. Yeah, and mine this time was different than it was the last time. As far as it being the director's cut, I really hate that they cut that scene, because that scene with the dancing and the music, it really told the story of what they do there. You didn't really ever see that. She explained it, but then they just focused on escaping. I wish they would have kept that.
Well, I think it got cut because they thought it was too over-sexual. I think that's one of those things that got them their R rating and had to cut back because Warner Brothers insisted on a PG-13.
Probably, because it very much insinuates the guy that lusts after the girl and then goes to a room and she shows up and the towels and the sheets and everything are being thrown out of the rooms. You know what's happening.
Now, was there a sexual scene between her and the high roller? Wasn't that supposed to be a thing in the director's cut?
Yes, that was in there too, but it was much deeper than just sex. He has this whole conversation with her where they're sitting in it's right after she kicks the guy in the groin so that Sweet Pea can leave. She wakes up in a bed and he's in the room, and it's he's telling her, he's like, you have to. that scene should have stayed too, because I don't think
It's
that was
right
about
before the
sex.
lobotomy?
I don't think it was about sex,
Yeah.
because he says you have to want this. Like, I want you to enjoy it. I want you to, like, I don't want you to come in here and do it because it's your job. Like, you know that it's like there's a sexual innuendo, but it right after that the lobotomy happens and he's the one that does it. So it really helps define the story, and that's why I think I have that interpretation. Is it's like he is telling her, like, you need to accept that this is going to happen for the things that you want to happen. And that's why when the guy does the lobotomy, he's like, she looked at me like she wanted me to do that. Like, it ties into that scene so well.
Well, they cut it because
So well.
they cut it because, again, they thought it was too over sexual for the
I
R-rated.
mean, they're in a bed and he ends up kissing her.
And so they cut it down, and the way they cut it down, it made it look like he was more of a creep than anything.
it was
And so
deep.
they cut the scene entirely.
Yeah.
What
Instead
I
of put it back in the director's cut.
understand, though, as violent as that movie was, I mean, all the violence, especially in the crazy fantasy
Yeah.
scenes. Who
None of
cares
those
if there's-
changed.
Yeah, who cares if there's a couple of sexual situations? It's like-
America.
I know, but that's crazy to me.
But that if people could just step back, and the scene where they're singing is very sexual, but I think it helps tell the story a little bit deeper of
Right.
what they do there.
Also-
And
Sex
then-
is okay, America. It's fine.
Yeah, it's also the violence in it as well. It's violent. It's also against steampunk zombies and orcs and
Not
dragons,
real.
not real people.
Yeah.
Even when it's real, it's kind of. I mean, a long time. I mean, we don't really see Sweet Pea, not Sweet Pea, but Rocket. We don't really get her. It's not overly gratifying to see her stabbed.
Yeah.
The headshots are off screen.
Right, but Blondie and
But their headshots are off screen. They just
right, but
so they're not shown, and so
They have ways of getting around it.
right. So all that stuff's implied, and so. Yeah, we're weird about sex.
I highly
Also,
recommend.
they were targeting this movie to 13-year-old boys.
I highly recommend you watch it with those two scenes, because those two scenes made such a difference in the film and the interpretation of what it was
I've seen them.
about.
I've seen it before. I thought you saw it before. I thought we watched it over at Jean's house one year, but that was years ago. This movie's almost 10 years old. I've got, but you don't have anything to play it on. But I have it.
I could play it on my computer, couldn't I?
You got a Blu-ray?
I've got a brand new computer.
It probably has a Blu-ray on it. Probably watch it. Next time I go to the storage room, I'll pull it out for you.
All right.
Anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it gave me a whole new perspective on the film. But those are my favorite kind of films, like anything horror, thriller, action that makes you have to like really interpret its deeper meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Those are fun for me. So I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Awesome.
I thought you would enjoy this movie, and I was a little disappointed when you said you didn't, but I'm glad you went
But
back.
the whole first part was so disoriented. Like it just, to be fair, there were other factors. Like I just like was sitting by myself watching it, and it was like jumping around. I should have been crocheting. I would have been happier, but I wasn't. It was upstairs. I didn't feel like going to get it.
It's a weird movie. I think this particular movie takes more than one viewing.
No, I do
It
too.
was the end of the movie that I liked it. Like the whole first part of it, I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then it ends with the lobotomy, and you're like,
The first
What?
time I saw it, I had no idea what was going on. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we
I
loved
loved
the hell out of
movie.
it.
Loved it, but I left the theater going, I don't know what I watched. I liked it. I don't know what it was.
I visually enjoyed it. Like it was like I liked the way that the cuts were done to show. Like it did feel a little bit like a video game
Just
in a
goes
way,
there a little bit of anime
where
in there.
like it draws your attention to like the butcher putting the knife down. It's like we put the knife down, knife. Did you see the knife? Did you see the knife?
Pick up the knife.
There's a knife here. You might
Pick
need
up
it
the
later.
knife.
I don't know. Think about the knife. But the shots were really pretty. The way that it was done, I
Chekhov's knife.
enjoyed it. But the story, like I was having such a hard time because it was jumping around. I was like, we went from like an mental institution to like a brothel. I don't understand why. And
See, that kind of stuff I never questioned. I
Yeah,
knew
that made sense.
I knew reality.
they're like, that made sense.
Well, it didn't make sense. It didn't have to though. I knew reality shifted.
That's fair.
What didn't make sense for me, or what I had a hard time linking, were the extreme fantasy scenes. Because I get the mental institution / brothel, the two realities there. But then when she would go into this other altar, and I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? So it took a another couple of viewings. For
That
me
was
to
just
really-
another level of not understanding what the hell was happening for me. I was like, why? Why did she?
Because
She can survive a deep rock throw? Like, I don't understand.
I think it's going to be it's a misunderstood film that's going to be appreciated in a couple more years. And we're almost to its 10th year anniversary. I think there there'll be another look at it. Of course, I was reading reviews of it, and it's like it was like feminist empowerment through men's eyes, though. So it's not really empowering at all. And so I've read some really interesting articles about it. So. It is what it is. I mean, again, I rarely look at a film trying to be empowered, but one way or the other. And for this one, I was just so happy to see. It was a good action film.
It was a good action
film. I don't
film.
really care who's doing the action, as long as it's good. Which I know it's probably dumb of me to say, but it still is. I did do some research too.
Okay.
Is it about the film?
Well, sort of.
Did you find out what happened to the mom? Because that still bugs me.
Died of some disease, right?
Probably cancer or some shit.
Well, it's like the only thing that throws me is how she died. Like, was a stepdad abusing the mom and he killed her?
No.
And that's what happened?
I think she had some disease.
It looked like some natural cause.
It did, because she was in the bed and the doctor was there.
I think she's some rich heiress. He got lucky, married her. She's probably she's clearly the second husband.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to wait her out to get the fortune, and it just didn't work out for him.
I feel bad I didn't do any research.
You didn't have to.
We normally don't. We just happened to watch it because she hadn't watched it in a while. And I was intrigued by the fact that the director's cut was better than the first one.
So let's talk about the soundtrack.
Let's do that. Let's throw that down.
I promised we would talk about the soundtrack.
Okay.
And it's more noticeable going back into it that she sang those songs.
Here's something interesting I thought, and it didn't dawn on me until I did the research on it. But the first song in the film is "Sweet Dreams Are Made of These" by the Eurythmics.
Right.
Which is a great song, and Emily Browning, who sings it, is amazing. She's
Right.
Baby Doll. She does it wonderfully. That's how the movie's introduced. Baby Doll does not say her first line in the film until 27 minutes into the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
so she
doesn't.
sings first,
Right.
and doesn't say anything for 27 minutes.
And she
It's an
doesn't say
interesting way
anything
to
in the middle of the
introduce your character.
brothel, right? Like,
right.
she's already in the brothel mode before she says anything.
Yeah, before she says anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think out of the girls, it's Sweet Pea who has the first line of the girls. And then...
Where she's on them, she's like, this isn't sexy.
Right. Here's
Yeah.
the things I get. This is what I don't get. So,
And then Rockets after that.
I liked Rocket.
but I'm trying to get the song list too. But so there's of course the mashup between Queen's "I Want It All" and "We Will Rock You."
I Want It All is one of my favorite
Yeah.
Queen songs.
Bjork did "Army of Me" in this, and the Oscar Isaacs and I was trying to think of her name, Carla Gugino did "Love Is a Drug," and that was the song that was cut.
That was, if you guys can watch that scene, it was amazing.
Soundtrack did better than the movie, by the way. It
Was
charted.
the soundtrack include the ones that were cut?
Track listing are "Sweet Dreams Made of These" by Emily Browning, "Army of Me" with Bjork, "White Rabbit," "Want It All," "We Will Rock You," "Search and Destroy" was Stooges cover. They were all covers, and I'll tell you why in a second. "Tomorrow Never Knows" is the Beatles cover. "Where's My Mind," which is one of my favorite songs ever, and it's beautiful in this film. "Asleep," Emily Browning, who does it's a Smiths cover, and then "Love Is a Drug." That was the last song. So they put the cut song last. I also put the cut. I think the cut song's in the credits. Honestly.
Does Emily sing outside of this?
She wasn't much of a singer beforehand. They auditioned her to sing because they wanted Baby Doll to sing, and she did her audition as "Killing Me Softly" with his song, Roberta Flack. And
Do you have a clip of that by chance?
I do not, but that's
unfortunate.
But that's how she got the part.
Huh.
So
That's interesting. And then the way that they incorporated her singing without realizing that it's her singing, but
Right.
it's
Right.
obvious after you hear it, but it's not like she performs a song, you know?
Right. So
That's interesting.
It's all in her head.
It's interesting.
it's very very cool. Let's see. But so So as with the soundtrack for Watchmen, director Zack Snyder, Watchmen is also something we need to do. Decided to go with covers instead of original songs, saying if you go with the original song, you just get that moment. But if you go with a cover, you also get the baggage it brings to it, which I kind of agree. He likes the baggage, and it kind of resonates and brings across time. It's just not the moment.
What do you mean by that?
So, like, songs are written for specific reasons, and they carry their own baggage because of that. So, if I write a song for a soundtrack, I'm writing it for that moment. But if I've got something like White Rabbit, who has it's got it's a Jefferson Airplane song, and it's got a huge meaning in history. It brings all that with it. So when you hear it, you automatically recognize it and bring everything. And it's White Rabbit has this whole LSD trippy kind of. You'll hear it a lot in Vietnam movies. That and Fortunate Son. Those are the two big ones. And so all that history and baggage that comes with it, when you hear it, you know it. And so it influences you how you're watching the film. Much like, remember when we were discussing about 8mm film, not on air, but off air. And so making, projecting your 8mm film on on a wall and then recording it that way to do your edits. Well, that's a whole different interpretation of the medium.
Right.
And so it's similar in that fashion.
Interesting.
So he quotes saying, Zack Snyder, and I quote, the girls in this movie kick ass, so the soundtrack had to kick ass. I really wanted every aspect of Sucker Punch to feel unexpected, the look, the feel, and the sound of what Baby Doll and the others go through. I think the music in the film turned out to be such a great surprise and to really help tell the story, and as the only was something as primitive and as part of the human experience as music can. And there's a point to that. It's the beats are very primitive, and that's what I like about it. It got good reviews. The soundtrack did. Except from one place who said it was inconsistent like the movie is. It's like if you listen to the soundtrack as itself, you don't know what you're listening to. And I'm like, you're listening to good music, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Watch the movie.
All right.
Should the soundtrack tell a story? Is that something some people do?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, when they make a movie, they make the soundtrack. So if you listen to the soundtrack by itself, it would tell its own story.
Yeah, there's some like that. Well, I mean, another good soundtrack comes to mind is the soundtrack from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's excellent, even on its own. And it does kind of tell a story.
Singles does too. I'm biased, but my favorite soundtrack of all time is Singles. And it's a mixture of originals and B-sides and
what'd you say it was?
Singles.
Singles
is a movie that I'm wanting to do, but I'm like, that's a vanity project because I don't know if anybody else will enjoy it except me.
It's not on the list.
It seems like I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
It's a romance movie. It's not really your thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's about finding love in early '90s Seattle, where it's grunge rock is new and
nasty grunge love,
and it's like and Pearl Jam's in it, and Chris Cornell and Alice in Chains, and so
I like all that music though.
The soundtrack is phenomenal. Like, even if you don't like the soundtrack's better than the movie. So
there you go.
So there's that. So it charted. It did well in the U.S. in the charts. Number 3 overall, and for
the soundtrack.
For the soundtrack, and then number 1 on soundtrack. Did not win any awards, though. I was surprised on that. So I think the backlash for the film is the reason why I didn't get any awards.
I loved it.
And also, they're all cover tunes, and usually cover tunes people like award people scoff at. Oh no, it's got to be original
I do
all
like,
the time.
especially knowing you can hear her after you brought it up. I think subconsciously you could tell, but actually looking for it, you could hear her, and it is nice to have that kind of connection to the film, where you're not hearing somebody else sing a song where you think about that song, you're thinking about the film. Right. She's telling it, so how does the song mean to her and her situation? So I like that. Thank you.
No problem.
Very
Knowledge
cool.
is power.
I'm trying to figure out what we're going to watch next week.
We need to know. Our audience needs to know.
We have a list.
We all need to know. Can I pick from the list?
Do you want to pick a movie?
I would, yes. I would like to.
You want to run the show?
Sure. I would like to note that I don't know most, if not all, of these movies.
I think
so
you should
random.
close your eyes, spin around 3 times, and point.
All right.
Cool.
So she's,
Hold on. I'm getting up, and I'm going to help her do this. Hold on.
Let me give you a video of this, just so I can put this on the show notes. Don't start yet. All right. So they're twirling. Justina's on skates because Justina. We're going to do Return to Oz, a Farouja Balk. It's also on Disney Plus, so you guys, if you have Disney Plus, you can watch it for free.
I have Disney Plus. Awesome. Return to Oz.
Josh has Disney Plus. We got this.
So, Justina.
Yes.
First of all, Stephanie, have you seen Return to Oz?
I do like I get to run that show
Yes.
because you're.
Huh?
Yes.
Have
Oh,
not.
sorry, I
Do you
missed
like
that.
it?
I watched you directly. My brain just shut that all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen it since I was a kid, so this will be like watching it for the first time. You've ever seen it?
No.
What do you think it's about?
The Wizard of Oz.
Sort of.
Like,
Good. More specific.
okay. So, let me tell y'all. Listen to me. So Dorothy comes back, right? She's so happy. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I came back and I was in this weird place." And they're like, "No, you weren't, Dorothy. You're so weird. Stop." And then one day,
This is one of my
another
favorite parts of
tornado
the show.
comes. Hold on. Another tornado comes, and Dorothy's going through another slump. She's having another fight with Aunt Em. Okay, there's an issue, chores or something. I don't know. She's upset. She runs away again, but this time it's not a witch or like a magician. Like she just runs into a diner, and they were like, "I'm sorry, we can't hire you. You have to leave." And then she leaves and she sees a tornado. She doesn't go into a root cellar this time, okay? This time she goes into a barn. Oh, excuse me. She didn't go into a root cellar last time. She tried to go, and then she had to go in the house. That's right. So she goes into a barn. Okay?
Pause real quick. Are you surprised you've seen The Wizard of Oz? I am.
I'm not surprised because I remember, like, especially, I hate to say this, for her age, she's about the same age as my kids. There's a time when it would
No,
come on
she's
every-
exactly the same age.
Shut up. there was a time when it
We
would
established that earlier
like
in the show.
come on every year, and it was a big thing where everybody, on Thanksgiving, and then the kids would want to watch.
I think
it
that
every year.
might be it. My dad is big on.
Yeah.
He puts on like a certain channel
It's like a tradition
for
thing.
Thanksgiving. Like we
Yeah.
watch the parade, we watch the dog thing afterward,
So I'm
and
not
then whatever
surprised.
comes on.
I think it's one of those holiday movies. So.
I
That's why
gotcha.
I hate the Christmas Story. A Christmas Story. Anywho, so she goes into a
Well,
barn
we've done
this
that one, so we
time.
don't ever have to do that one
So,
again.
but this time she's on the other side of Oz because it's Return to Oz. So, like last time she landed in Munchkin City, somewhere around there, and she's so happy, everything's butterfly and fantastic. But this time she's gonna end on the other side, okay? And it's gonna be the goons and the darkness, and then she has to lead the bad side of Oz. Boom, done.
No spoilers for you, but I will say I find it interesting that this was randomly selected after we've watched Sucker Punch.
Right.
That is interesting for
Right.
you to say out
Right,
loud.
yeah, I thought and when you see it, you'll understand why.
Another thing too is this is Derby Wife's favorite movie, The Wizard of Oz. So it's also interesting that Return to Oz is what I picked because I get to run that. So I'm intrigued.
Derby Wife, have you
It's
seen?
gonna be fun.
Have you seen Return to Oz? Yes. What do you? How do you feel about it?
Do you want to talk into a microphone?
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
We'll,
I liked it.
all right.
She likes it.
I like the sword. It's along with one of the books.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Oz books. I read them as a kid too. I'm with you. I like the
I've
Wizard of
never
Oz.
read any of those books.
They're
believe
fun.
It or not.
I have one that I was reading to her. I need to continue that.
That's adorable.
I have read the
We're
I-
adorable. I know.
what is it? The Alice in Wonderland books.
Mm-hmm.
I like those.
Those are trippy
I have
too.
not read those either.
But I have not read any of the Oz
So
books.
what I like about Frank L. Baum, the guy who wrote Wizard of Oz,
Thank you.
was and Derby Wife knows this, I know, but
She looks at me like you should know. You've been reading the book.
so the like he made this stuff and he lived very hand to mouth, and so like he would make a book and people would love it, and then he would just spend all that money, and then he would like, okay, I need to write another book. That's why the series is so long. He would just make books because like, I gotta feed my kids. So Dorothy's gonna go do this, or whoever's gonna do this in Oz, and that's
That's really cool, though.
So he is also the first person who financed the very first Wizard of Oz theatrical play.
Nice.
He's also
there's
the
a play?
yeah. There's a couple versions of the play.
Oh.
Before it was a movie. There's a pre-movie version that Baum did. There's a because it's in public domain, so you can make a Wizard of Oz whatever. But the 1939 movie is not, and so you can't make the version of that with all
then
those
of course
songs.
there's Wicked.
Yeah, there's Wicked.
I have not seen that either.
So Wicked's good. Do you like Wicked? Have you listened to it? Or it's good.
It's good.
If we
need to see it together.
Yeah, if we're able to like gather again,
We had
Wicked
decided
tours.
that the next time it was like touring anywhere close by that we were going to go watch
It's
it.
really, really good. It's about the Wicked Witch of the West.
I love the theater.
That's an interesting
I'm going to take some
take on it.
binoculars and wear a fancy dress.
Other weird thing that I know about Frank Baum and the Wizard of Oz is that forgive me, I don't remember the actor's name who played the wizard. But they gave him he went out and bought a coat that he uses in the movie. He just happened to find the coat, the coat he wears. Turns out was actually one of Frank L. Baum's original coats.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just random happenstance, and so
That's cool.
yeah, it's interesting.
The one that like in the movie?
yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it just happens. And Baum been dead years ago, and he just donated and
How did he find out it was his?
it had a tag in the pocket.
That movie had so many production mishaps. That movie almost wasn't.
Well,
Yeah.
the movie almost killed Buddy Epson
Right.
because of
Who's Buddy Epson?
Buddy Epson is. You ever seen the Beverly Hillbillies?
Nope.
Do you know what the Beverly Hillbillies are?
Yes.
Okay.
They're in like a car at the beginning sequence, and
Well, the
they all
dad
look
in
like
that
hillbillies.
is
Buddy Epson.
Buddy Epson. He played that. He's that.
I know so little that I don't recognize who that is.
Remember we watched Pet Sematary?
Yes.
The old guy Judd.
The one across the street.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
not Buddy Epson. That's Guy from the Monsters.
that is the guy. That's the yeah.
Oh.
You're right. You're right.
She just
You're right.
spirit guided you, buddy.
No, you're right. I got excited.
He did. He got me excited. You guys
Yeah,
are both
the
getting
monster,
me
you're right.
excited
Yep,
today.
that's the monster.
That's what I got you. I knew TV. I got.
Yeah.
But Buddy Epson was Jed, right? It's Jed.
Jed.
Yeah.
Jed Clampett.
Jed Clampett. Thank you. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I've seen
What the
that.
hell are their names? They're
Yeah,
the
I kept
Clampetts.
going to go Jethro, but that's the boy. That's the
Yeah.
Granny Jethro, Jed, and
Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae. Thank you. Next door was Mr. Drysdale,
That's right.
and so, but yeah, so he was originally going to play the Tin Man, and the makeup nearly killed him because they put real aluminum in it.
I remember that. I remember us
Yeah,
talking about
it's-
that
it was
at some point.
terrible, and there was all kinds of things going on with the Munchkins. That was an issue, and then
Like a possible Munchkin suicide,
yeah.
which is not true, but it's really cool to watch
And
when
then,
you see it.
Then all the problems with all the stuff that they made poor little Dorothy do.
No,
or-
said Dorothy.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Judy?
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland.
Yeah.
They abused her. It
Yeah, I
was
heard that.
terrible.
We talked about that when you saw the movie Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was so abused.
Yeah,
So,
she was.
Anyway.
Margaret Hamilton got burned in makeup.
Yeah, the Wicked Witch
Yeah.
got burned in
Yeah.
the fireball.
She sure did. It was a thing. That movie was a thing.
Yeah, it was like.
It's a beautiful movie though, so I'm glad it came together.
And do
Like
you
I
know-
would be pissed if I would have had to go through all that and a movie didn't come out
And
of
do you
it.
know what come out that same year? Another big budget movie?
Look at everybody's taking everybody's job today.
No,
I
that's what I'm
have
saying, but
literally no
But I
idea.
have a better connection, but go ahead.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind.
Haven't seen that.
All right, you should. It's great.
It was good.
Interesting enough, both movies directed by the same man.
He was a busy man.
He was doing
Victor
both
Fleming,
films
yeah.
at the same time.
Went.
Do you see any connections between them?
No.
There are none.
So
That's interesting. Like sometimes you blur those lines.
So Victor directed both films. Not quite at the same time. They were kind of, but they were close
They
to.
were staggered. They were-
Yeah, they were back to back.
He didn't get a break. Let's
All right, and he lost his ever loving mind. He like had a mental breakdown during Gone with the Wind.
Oh shit.
As years have gone by and the stories have come out, it's basically David O. Selznick who produced Gone with the Wind, basically directed that film. Victor Fleming has some influence in it, but David O. Selznick wasn't a director, so the studio wasn't gonna hire him as a director. But he was so involved in this that he basically directed that film. So it's a very, very much a David O. Selznick film. Funny enough, the reason why I call myself Scotty O. White is because of David O. Selznick.
Oh, that's
Good to
pretty
know.
cool.
The O in David O. Selznick means nothing. He just thought it looked cool. I thought it looked cool. And I was like, oh, wait, my middle name is O. And
I can do that.
And so I can do that. So Scotty O. White. I understand HBO Max pulled Gone with the Wind. I don't want to get political, but I'm probably going to in a second.
Don't do it, Scotty. Don't do it.
I know HBO Max pulled off Gone with the Wind, which is a shame.
I'm very angry about that.
Yeah, it's a shame.
What's happening right now?
Because
They
of
pulled Gone with the Wind.
because of its treatment of slavery is not as harsh as people think it should, and probably rightfully so, because it's not like.
But the movie is a classic.
Yeah,
1930s,
it's such a beautiful
okay?
film.
So they did things differently back then, and right or wrong, it's still a piece of history.
Right, it's
Yeah.
context is the problem.
Probably should still be available for viewing.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
So
It's like
Interesting.
burning books.
You shouldn't burn
You
books.
shouldn't
Right.
burn books. You shouldn't. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, like I said, and I understand people think, but I don't. There wasn't like a big call to pull it down. HBO just decided to do it or Warner Bros. Did it as kind of as a preemptive kind of thing.
It's been some crazy stuff.
Does some crazy stuff, but I get it. It's the slaves there seem to be very happy to be slaves, kind of thing, and it's like
So they make it. That's
It's-
the impression. It's like, oh, they're happy.
right, they're just happy little servants, and everyone's happy to work, and that's not the case,
And,
but
there probably were some very well taken care of slaves.
oh yeah,
I
probably
mean,
so.
But,
But it's
Didn't know.
Gone with the Wind's
Which president took care of his slaves really well?
well, the first few who had
Yeah.
them.
No, I'm talking about really well.
Oh well, to Jefferson.
Yeah,
He loved him sadly.
that's it.
So next week we will not record. You were traveling.
Yeah, well, I could.
where are you going?
I'm gonna go celebrate my son's 30th birthday.
So she's.
Oh, that's right.
So
I could record it. Just have to be like Wednesday.
no, that's fine. Well, we can.
I get off at 7.
Well, you're right. So we can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We'll
can
take a break.
We'll take a break. I have an episode that we did a couple of years ago that we did live with our friends Scott and Eris at Mopcast, and
Oh,
we
nice.
did Dungeons and Dragons, and so we'll do. I'll air that instead. So we'll have that in space.
Okay.
So yay! I found that while I was digging through all of our Harry Potter, Star Wars stuff.
That's actually
Fun.
awesome.
So I found
Yeah.
that. So next week will actually be Dungeons and Dragons, but we won't do a cult meeting. We'll skip the cult meeting on D&D and then go straight into
Sounds good. I'll go.
so
Return of Oz. Return to Oz.
Return to Oz, which will technically be our we just celebrated our 1 year anniversary of meeting.
We did.
Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday,
I
yes.
know.
And so, but like timeline wise, like episode wise, I think Return to Oz will be number 52, which would be 1 year.
That's cool.
So
That's cool.
not 52 because the way we number, it'll be like 26, but 26 times 2 is 52
Yeah,
because we do cult meetings,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
26.5 and stuff. So there's that.
I'll bring macaroons.
Yes.
I will not shy away from macaroons. And-
If you want to pair them with a delicious beverage,
I will for Oz.
Yes.
It'll probably be green.
Interesting.
I don't know. I might change mine.
I mean, there's no Wicked
I know.
Witch in that.
We
so
did miss
I
some
was
green
thinking about the Emerald
beers
City.
for
Oh.
St.
I like
Patrick's
Emerald.
Day.
It's not really.
And so we did miss the green beers for St. Patrick's Day
I did not.
next year. We did.
We'll figure it out.
We will.
I will make something.
Well, all right then. Well, this is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out to make yours.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Mopcast Network.